Welcome into the SIP Championship Saturday as Jackson State, the 12th ranked team in the country and the defending HBCU national champions, hosting Prairie View A&M out of the West Division winners of the West, as Tiffany Green alongside Jay Walker, Madison Hawk down on the field, and tie ball game, knotted at 0 here. Prairie View will get their second possession when we come back. Back here in the capital city, Jackson, and the Tigers and Panthers on the prowl for a SWAC championship and a trip to the Cricket Celebration Bowl next weekend. And Jay, we talked about how Jackson State has been the standard, searching for their 4th conference title in the last 5 seasons. Meanwhile, it's a new look for Prairie View.
Yeah, we didn't know if the lights or the cameras were going to be too big for Prairie View, but so far in this football game, they've shown they're not fearing Jackson State, which is a big thing. Their opening possession, they moved the football well, missed a field goal attempt, but I think on that opening drive, offensively and defensively, Prairie View has gotten the respect and the attention of Jackson State. And
they certainly got the attention of Tigers fans before the game, the 0 quarter where the bands go back and forth. And right before kick, the Prairie View fans were certainly pumped up, happy to be in this position. It's a rematch of the SWAC championship from 2021. Cam Peters rolling out, has a man. That's Josiah Rockwell. Rockwell with that reception is now a 1,000-yard receiver on the season, a gain of 20.
He's a guy that when the ball's in the air, he just thinks he's going to catch it. You see him set up the receiver, turn him around. Look at all the separation he creates. Big target to throw to. Rockwell, impact transfer from Sam Houston.
And Trayvon Jones, another one of those impact transfers, and that was a theme coming into this season for Prairie View. Over 70 new players for this team.
I mean, this is what college football is all about. Get as old as you can, as quickly as you can, and with the 70 players that they brought into the program, renewed life into Prairie View football. And give Coach Jermaine Jackson credit, putting all those multiple personalities together for a very successful season.
A little trickeration there in the backfield, tried to deceive. Shadrick Bird, though, gets the handoff. And the graduate who came over from Troy, or Charlotte, excuse me, and Jermaine Jackson, the coach of the year in the conference this season. His group has led the SWAC, yeah, it is, in scoring defense, as back to play with Peters getting hit there at the end. A flag comes out late. And they're going to review this one. Did he hit him? Would it be a personal foul? Potentially targeting there as Peters was falling backwards. We saw his head and upper body go forward.
And you would think in a game like this, the officials don't want to make an impact in this game negatively. So they're going to talk about it hard. The penalty may be one thing, but it's going to be hard to get ejected.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, with targeting, defense, number 5. The previous play is on the further review.
That one called against Shamar Hawkins. The DBs here is, we'll take another look at it. A little stutter step, tried to spin away from Reed Pulliam, and on the way down,
ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. And he got him with a helmet and a forearm rip to the helmet of the quarterback. I think Shamar Hawkins' game is done.
Yeah.
I think that's a targeting there.
Just a reminder to our viewers, you saw as Cam Peters was being tackled to the ground, you saw the helmet-to-helmet contact thrust through from Hawkins.
And if there was any doubt, once you saw the forearm shiver to the helmet as well.
After review, there was no targeting on the play. However, the unnecessary roughness will be enforced. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, we often have questions of the indicators and things that they're looking for, but between Myers and Vernon Brakefield, the replay official upstairs, no targeting. unnecessary roughness penalty remains. And so now that's going to bring up 1st and goal for Prairie View A&M. You mentioned, Jay, a 10-yard drive coming up empty in their opening possession. That missed 45-yard field goal. And here, Tremaine Jackson's group knocking on the door once again with an outstanding opportunity to get on the board first.
And you know, what we've seen is against Jackson State, teams struggle to control the line of scrimmage. You know, when they played Alabama State this year in a great game, Alabama State held their own at the line of scrimmage. I'm seeing Prairie View A&M win the battle at the line of scrimmage. They're running successful running plays. Nobody's getting to their quarterback. So the offensive line for Prairie View A&M, I think that's been the surprise for Jackson State thus far.
The flip to Bird, the pass wide open and just out of the hands of Ethan John, the tight end. It was there for Prairie View.
They missed him. They set it up. Number one, look at all the time he has on this one. He can run this ball, pick up yardage, and then the tight end, Ethan John, gets behind the secondary. Missed opportunity to take the early lead, but Ethan John, he got to catch that ball. You know, the ball sailed a little bit, but if you get one hand on it in a championship game, you got to get 2 hands on it and secure that catch.
Well, great call, just unable to execute. So now here on 2nd and goal, Peters looking for some space, and he runs into the end zone. The first score of the game goes to the Panthers.
I've not seen a team win the battle of the line of scrimmage versus Jackson State the way Prairie View is doing it. Patience in the run game is allowing their runners to find the secondary hole. Okay, you're not there right away. One cut, make a guy miss into the end zone. Cameron Peters.
Peters with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season from 7 yards out. And Prairie View gets on the board first, and right now it's quiet inside the vet against the defending SWAC and HBCU national champions. Diego Alfaro on to attempt the extra point. It's up and it's through, so a 7-0 lead for Prairie View, and an impressive start for this group out of Texas.
You get an opportunity to show what you can do as a quarterback. The offensive line doing their job. Great offensive touchdown for the Prairie View A&M Panthers.
Welcome back to Jackson, Mississippi, where Cam Peters gets Prairie View A&M on the board first, 7-0 here. Peters hit a turning point early this season, right after the Panthers' season-opening win over Texas Southern. Coach Jackson felt Peters didn't approach the following week with the same preparation, and it showed in a Week 2 loss. So Jackson pulled Peters into his office and set the standard. Win or lose, you prepare the same. Since then, Peters has locked in over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. And guys, the best part, he's fully embraced coaching and constructive criticism.
Well, I love that, Madison. Thanks so much. And when we talked with Coach Jackson, he said, look, he started to, cheer for the guy in front of him instead of just looking on, and was really involved in a different way. And he's really benefited, and so has this team, as they're here in the SWAC championship, 4th overall appearance, first time since 2001. Eric Simmons here on the return for Jackson State, trying to go the opposite side of the field. And again, you see the speed on display for Prairie View.
Let's take a look at Jay's HBCU power rankings, let you know what's at stake. Hey, Delaware State, great season. Coach D-Jack in the first year. Hey, you got our attention. Albany State on the bubble, the Division II powerhouse. They're still playing playoff football. Number 4, you're seeing them, but they're trying to move up the charts, aren't they? Number 3, let's go on down to Alabama State. Great year that Eddie Robinson and the Hornets had there in Montgomery. Number 2, well, we're getting a little closer to home now. South Carolina State. The winner of this game will see them in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And the number 1 team in HBCU football, Jackson State. Can you guard the yard, as they like to say down here? Prairie View A&M looks like they're not impressed.
No, They came in motivated, and, you know, Tremaine Jackson said, look, this is a team who's still trying to figure out who they are, but this collective has come together at the right time. Again, put together a 9-win season for the first time since 2009, and Jackson State currently on the ropes. The defense for Prairie View has held Jackson State to under 10 total yards so far in this game, and right there, delivering the blow. Daryl Starling has been exactly where they wanted him to be. He's filled the gap right there, the great open field tackle to drive the receiver down.
I mean, you know, Jacoby and Morgan thinks the wide receiver's open. As he comes across the formation, they're just passing him off. Sterling Roberts lets him fly across his face, and Daryl Starling, reading his keys, delivers a big hit on the catch.
Starling has been a great surprise for the Panthers this season. On third down, Morgan receives the snap. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. The little crossing route, and just dropping the football with Shamil Gardner. That is a live football, and Prairie View has come up with it. Daryl Starling Jr. That dude right there.
He is all over the football field. The ball comes out. Number 25 makes the fumble recovery. The exotic blitz. You see all the linebackers turning their back, so they say we'll throw underneath, but does not hold the ball. Trying to run before he made the catch to solidify the catch.
The ruling on the field is a
They're
catch,
look at it.
fumble by the defense, fumble by the offense, recovered by the defense. The previous play is under further review.
And with that look, Jay, that we saw those last couple of looks, it appears that it is a fumble. It looked like Jamil Gardner Jr. had the football, made a football move, and then just lost it.
Does he have control of it? No. No. That's the best look there. They're probably going to say he never had control of it to secure the catch. He's got the ball.
See? Okay, it just depends, because it looked like he had control there. Depending upon,
he's trying to secure the football. I'm going to stick with he's trying to secure the football right here. He's catching it. He's trying to secure it. The ball's not secure. Not able to secure it. That was the best look there if you're Jackson State. If you're Prairie View, you want the other looks. Whatever the case may be, Prairie View's going to get the football back. It'll be 4th down. But they can start the drive right now. They would make an impact statement, but I have to think he didn't secure the football.
Prairie View has a great defense that we've seen thus far. Tremaine Jackson described them as a no-name defense, but they've been steady and productive all season, and they're showing that. Couple of 3-and-outs that they forced for Jackson State, potentially another here, depending on the call, or perhaps the fumble will stand. Here's the call.
After review, the pass was incomplete. 4th down, Jackson State.
So Starling, who has been all over the field, was there just ready in case, but it was not a catch. And the punting unit going to come back on for the Tigers.
Prairie View still establishing. They were the unknown. You know, these two teams did not meet during the regular season. Only common, one of the common opponents you look at is Alabama State. Prairie View lost Alabama State in a close game. Jackson State beat Alabama State in a super close game.
It's Kyle Collins punting it away. And Dennis sees that fair catch inside, because why? It was kind of shanked inside the 45 of Jackson State. Great starting field position for Prairie View. Meanwhile, good time to tell you, coming up at 8 Eastern over on ABC, Championship Saturday is capped off by Duke taking on 18th ranked Virginia in the ACC title game. And Jay, I know a lot of conversation around this feels like a basketball game. But Virginia is searching for their first title in a long, long time outright. They shared it with Florida State back in 1995, but they've never won it outright.
There's a lot riding. Virginia wins that game. They get the automatic qualifier from the ACC to get into the playoff.
Second straight drive starting in Jackson State field position. What the patience right there of Chase Bingham.
I like Bingham, but I like that offensive line a little bit better. I mean, the way that they are freezing the rush for Jackson State time and time again, Bingham's able to show the patience because there's no penetration. The white jerseys are not allowing the blue jerseys to cross the line of scrimmage, and that allows this effective rushing attack from Prairie View. You have to start winning your one-on-one battles if you're playing for Jackson State.
He gained better than 200 yards on the ground. Little flip there on the reverse, and how about the defense standing tall for Jackson State? Ashton Taylor, the will linebacker, with a great tackle for a loss.
I'm going to question why you go misdirection when you're winning the battle line of scrimmage. There are no blue jerseys winning. All they did was have a stay-at-home linebacker in Ashton Taylor read his keys and stay there, but have they just run the ball to the right side? They're still controlling that line of scrimmage. Risky play, and Jackson State linebacker Ashton Taylor made him pay for it.
He's got great size, speed, length. And here on third down, better than 10. But Cam Peters throws off his back foot, has a man wide open. That's Jacoby Banks, and Banks trying to shake some defenders. Nowhere to go. 3 blue jerseys converge, and Jackson State's defense holds there and bring it up a 4th down.
Now I want to know, Tremaine Jackson, who are you? You know, proven track record, one of the hottest coaches in America. Are you going up there, you're up by 7? Do you punt and play the game close to their chest with the battlefield position? Or do you elect to go for it? I think he's electing to punt the ball away. 1 or 2 more yards, I think he might have gone for.
I was going to say, we saw him try to kick a 40-yard field goal with, some question marks around his kicker where he could have potentially gone for it here. Playing it safe, and Jackson State will start their next drive from the 9-yard line as Adam Atwell does his job.
Well executed because, to Coach Jackson's defense, I'm aggressive. I would have gone for it. Hey, if Jackson State's going to score, make them go 92 yards on it. They've not been able to move the ball on you yet. Make them go 92.
Expressly here, Jay, 9 plays for the Tigers, just 8 yards of total offense thus far. We came in talking about the top rushing offense in the SWAC, number 2 overall in FCS. They put up better than 33 points a game, but Jacoby and Morgan, first game back after missing the last 4. And Ahmad Miller, they go with their 1,000-yard rusher to try to have some success and jumpstart them, with Sterling Roberts making the tackle.
Yeah, what Jackson State's doing, they brought an extra wide receiver in to spread them out rather than have everybody in the box. Spread them out so we can try and create some running lanes. Force guys like Daryl Starling, the linebacker, who's been active, and Sterling Roberts to leave the box and have to make the tackles from outside. See the 4 wide receivers, they're really spreading them thin on the linebacker position.
Giving chase, but can't catch up to Miller, who picks up the first down, and that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. Well, Prairie View with a 7-0 advantage here in Jackson, Mississippi for the SWAC championship. A chance to go to the Cricket Celebration Bowl is on the line, and it's the East versus the West. And right now, the Panthers from Texas holding strong. Prairie View with the lead after 1 as we send it down to Madison Hawk, who is standing by with Tremaine Jackson.
Coach, how has your offense been able to establish both the run and the pass early in this one?
Yeah, we're taking advantage of some things that we saw. We got to be better on that last drive. That wasn't us. We got to take more advantage of that situation, but ultimately we got to win the fight in the middle.
Jackson State leads the conference in total offense. How have you held him to just 24 yards?
Well, we haven't held them yet. We just made some plays, and so now on this drive, starting the second quarter, they've kind of got the chess match figured out a little bit. We're going to have to do some things a little different.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
On the chess match, talking about what they've done, they've gone with an extra wide receiver to spread them out and create some running lanes to get a number count advantage in the rushing attack. Jackson State wants to run the football versus a three-man defensive line. They're trying to get more bodies in there to give them an advantage, so they're running downhill compared to uphill.
Another look at Ahmad Miller, 5-yard gain.
Almost a face mask there they might have gotten away with. Let's see what the penalty is down on the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the defense. Personal foul, face mask. After the play, unsportsmanlike, defense, number 12. Both 15-yard penalties will be enforced. That's number 12's first unsportsmanlike towards disqualification. Automatic first down.
First penalties of the game for Prairie View, and they are very costly. 30 yards and penalties, and Jackson State now moves into Panther territory.
And you remember one of the reasons why Tremaine Jackson elected to punt the field goal was to make Jackson State have to go 92 yards to get a touchdown. Well, you just gave them 30 free yards. Jackson State showing signs of life on offense.
Travis Terrell Jr. in the backfield, straight up the middle. And Terrell, the sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia. He was a freshman All-American last season. Had a couple of big games against Alabama A&M and Bethune-Cookman and Jacobian Morgan, who we talked about. First game since October 25th, where he fractured his foot. 2 for 5 today, just 4 yards through the air. Let's see if they can get their senior leader going. Instead, no, they keep it on the ground with Terrell, and he's going to be a yard short of the first down marker.
We heard from Coach Jackson. What he said, seems like Jackson State may have figured out that chess match, what they were doing. Great job of changing the game plan by offensive coordinators Rip Kirk and Manny Ramirez, stretching out this Prairie View A&M defense. And they're bringing the tight end number 81, Jensen Riley, in there. So right now they're trying to win the number of bodies in the box. Now, right now, this is advantage Prairie View. They got a lot of guys close to the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be tougher to run in that situation.
Indeed it was. And based on the spot, it looks like it's going to be short of the marker. And a fourth down upcoming as Ahmad Miller, who tried to pick up the yard, was held up by Kennedy Parker.
Yeah, I would still continue to spread them out. Don't make them tight inside.
And with 4th and inches upcoming, Jackson State's offense remains on the field. Absolutely. And T.C. Taylor is asking for a timeout. So they're going to talk it over.
Timeout, Jackson State. Their first of the half. Timeout.
So we'll see what the Tigers decide to do on this upcoming 4th down when we return. First big decision of this game for T.C. Taylor, his group leading on 4th down conversions this season in the SWAC, 10 of 13. And just think about this, Jay. He sends the offense back onto the field. He's got a 1,000-yard rusher and 3 all-conference selection offensive linemen up front. He's going to try to win that battle because this is an area where Jackson State has excelled all season long.
And if you can't get a yard, probably don't deserve to stay on the field. So I don't like that idea. They did it after calling a timeout and let the defense rest, and look what happens.
And based on the spot, it looks like it's going to be incredibly close. They may have to measure for this one.
Absolutely going to come down to the spot. Great job by the Prairie View Panther defensive making this close.
Malik Muthaki had that penetration, thought he was there. They're going to award him a first down, so able to pick it up. It was very close, though, as Muthaki was trying to hold the ball carrier Miller.
Extremely close, fortunate with the spot.
Morgan, with plenty of time, rolls to his right and just throws it away. Sterling Roberts, who was applying the pressure and screening Morgan. And Jay, again, Jackson State wanting to capitalize not only on those 30 yards and penalties for Prairie View, but again, a favorable spot there on that 4th down.
I mean, this is that 4th down play. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, extends it just in time. You can't see where the knee is, so it was that close.
Great camera look and effort there by Ahmad Miller. A little cut back as Terrell, the little jitterbug in the backfield, picks up 1.
And I'm not understanding why Jackson State's not going back to the 4 wide receiver look that opened up the running lanes and is a threat to the passing game. Prairie View's got to figure it out if they're going to keep the personnel in there. Now, look, this is where I think they're the best. For Jackson State, put 4 wide receivers out there. And now you're open for the passing game. Prairie View made the adjustment. They're keeping everybody close to the box. So that lets you know that they're playing man-to-man coverage on the outside. You can really hurt them in passing situations with this grouping on the field. Great man-to-man coverage.
And Morgan felt the pressure, plenty of real estate in front of him. He's going for the ball, and it's in the end zone. Jacoby Morgan feels just fine here, and he answers back with a touchdown, 29 yards out for the QB.
The key, you hear me say straight man-to-man coverage? Well, when it's straight man-to-man coverage, there's nobody to guard the quarterback. Defensive backs have their back turned to the quarterback. Morgan does a great job extending the play. Nobody saw him score. Jackson State, nice execution.
And a flag down on the far side around the 5. I think it was maybe after the play, and Jacoby and Morgan coming up limping.
Very gingerly.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike offense, number 5. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Top of point.
So that goes against Kobe Paul. Meanwhile, this is something we're going to absolutely keep our eye on. Madison Hawker, our sideline reporter, will keep an eye on Jacobian Morgan, who again was returning for his first game after fracturing his foot against Grambling State, and walking very lightly on the sideline as the ball game is tied up at 7 apiece after his TD run.
You see right here, what does a quarterback do? It's all about presence and recognition. Make one guy miss. Nobody's guarding me. Do you know I am the reigning SWAC Offensive Player of the Year? I will hurt you. And Jacoby Morgan does just that.
Well, tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown live coverage from Baltimore as the Steelers and Ravens battle for playoff survival, plus inside how Josh Allen honors a special group of fans. And before the CFP bracket is revealed, see how NFL stars stay true to their school. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. And certainly, you got to start them young.
They do down here.
Yes, goodness.
Look at them jump on the
These little
pole.
baby tigers, I love it.
And Wavy Dave, the mascot for JSU, he takes him around, and the crowd gets behind him.
The Marching Storm, who again was here for the 0 quarter, the Prairie View A&M band, who is ready to go head-to-head with the Sonic Boom of the South at the half.
Let me make a statement here. They're here. The band is here. We knew the band was going to be here. 6-hour drive, right? You told me 6-hour drive from. They need to get behind this football team. This is a good football team. And for all those Prairie View fans out there that are like, oh, we're Prairie View. This ain't that Prairie View no more. The losing streak Prairie View is gone. This is a really, really good football team. They've got an opportunity to go to Atlanta and kind of be ashamed because their fans weren't here. They didn't have an extra bump to get there. But I think they're building something special at Prairie View A&M.
Absolutely, and I would say that they have a very good showing here today at the Vet. When you talk about that Cricket Celebration Bowl, Jackson State won it last year. They had made 2 previous trips, but T.C. Taylor was able to bring home the hardware for his alma mater. Kellen Stewart on the return, and Stewart with a very good starting field position. As we talked about that losing streak, I think that's what people tend to think about the most in terms of 1989 and 98. They endured that longest losing streak in NCAA history.
And that's old news. That's old news.
They won those Black College National Championships. But the news of today is the rebuilding process and job that's been done in Prairie View. KJ Black helped lead the Panthers to a SWAC championship in 2009. There was a good stretch from Willie Simmons, who helped get them on the winning foot. Eric Dooley brought them to a SWAC championship game, along with Bubba McDowell, who was last here. And that's who Tremaine Jackson takes over for. Going the opposite direction, no room to run. Reed Pulliam brings him down. Boy, he's a guy who we have just watched grow and grow. An all-conference linebacker who just is fun to watch.
If you can't get any penetration by your defensive line, then your linebackers have to get closer to the line of scrimmage and fill in the gaps. And that's what Reed Pulliam did on that previous play. But not a good sign when you have to have your linebackers that close to the line of scrimmage to affect the running game.
Well, Peters, who ran 4 scores, a little bunker, comes out in the process, and this will likely come back. I saw a hold. That was a 27-yard run by Peters that might be erased.
Number 66, 10-yard penalty, second out.
You know, you saw Peters decide to run the ball inside the tackle, which I'm surprised they called a hold, because normally it's when he bounces outside. Left side of your TV screen, take a look right here. This is what they call the hold on. He goes with the inside move, turns him around. They're going to call that hold there, negating a big run from Cameron Peters.
Peters, the senior out of Missouri City, Texas, helped to lead that offense in the first quarter. Had the ball better than 9 minutes, 94 yards of total offense. And, of course, he was able to take it in from 7 yards out to give them the first score of the game. Jacoby and Morgan answered last drive for Jackson State. And Ojo on the reception, and it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
And I still would like to see Jackson State get to Cameron Peters, the quarterback for Prairie View. We know when they just rush 5, the offensive line's doing a good job of protecting. When do you leave your comfort zone at Jackson State and say, you know what, we're going to have to blitz and put our defensive backs on an island to try and come up with a big play defensively?
Peters has a man into the hands, and Ethan John, the tight end, still going. Brought down inside the 5. B.J. Washington able to drag him down, but 66 yards. Biggest pass play of the game for the Panthers.
A little twirl route on the outside. And when a quarterback can be this comfortable in the pocket, his accuracy goes up tremendously. Accurately thrown pass by Cameron Peters. The offensive line with the protection again. Great job of hauling in the catch and then running after he secures the football to get the ball inside the 10.
Longest pass of the season allowed by Jackson State's defense. Sets up 1st and goal for Prairie View A&M. Lamagier McDowell on the carry, and no room to run. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal.
McDowell, the largest running back on the Prairie View roster, 220 pounds, a transfer from Campbell. Short yardage, you would think he'd be able to move the pile a little bit, but Jackson State going to pack that box real tight. Your best success to run may be bouncing the ball to the outside with the quicker running back.
Also keep your eye on the bottom of your screen. Josiah Rockwell, number 11 in white, their top receiver this season. Fumble on the snap, and Prairie View able to recover it. Keegan Heckerman was there. Heckerman, who they like to bring in on these big packages. It bounces off of him. A good reaction there from Heckerman.
Doing one of those little hump motions where as a fullback or H-back can line up the linebacker and see him. Ball was snapped in the shoulder. Prairie View unfortunate to keep the football.
Now on 3rd and goal for the Panthers.
Top of the screen, that's your matchup we're talking about. One-on-one with Rockwell.
And a timeout taken by Jackson State.
Timeout. Jackson State. Their second of the half.
So Torenzo Quinn is going to talk it over with his defense. Make sure they hold here on 3rd and goal. Come back with us to the SIP. Welcome back to the vet. 3rd and goal here for Prairie View A&M. They scored back in the first quarter on a Cam Peters touchdown run, and now chess match here. And Jay, Jackson State's going to set their defense. If you're Prairie View, what do you think is going to work?
If I get one-on-one, bottom of the screen with number 11, you see right here, that matchup there, one-on-one, hey, I'm taking it. He's on an island. You have to get the ball to your best football player.
Josiah Rockwell, top 5 in receptions and receiving yards in the SWAC. Snap, Peters, throw low, and pass incomplete. He targeted Andre Dennis. And it's 4th and goal, and the kicking unit comes on. First incompletion for Peters in this ball game.
Yeah, just more, you settle for the quick slant where the short side of the field where you had to get into the end zone. Questionable decision there, where to go with the football. That's old. They need to make sure they convert on this field goal attempt.
The freshman out of Cypress, Texas, Diego Alfaro, trying to put the Panthers back on top. The 26-yard field goal is up and through.
You never get disappointed when you're winning a football game, but 1st and goal from the 6-yard line, you have to settle for a field goal. TC Taylor has to be proud of his defense making that stop.
Well, just to let you know, our Week 14 Monday Night Football matchup is between the Eagles and the Chargers at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Plus, we'll have a special Monsters Fun Day football on ESPN2 and Disney Networks. The game is transformed into animation in real time. And leading the Eagles and Sully and Chargers as well, like Mike Wiskowski.
I bet you here's something you didn't know. One of my favorite quarterbacks to watch.
Oh, who?
Justin Herbert.
Really?
Underrated. I think he is real deal. I like watching him play. I think he's going to be special.
Okay. I'll tell you what's special is hosting a SWAC championship game for the 4th time in 5 years. For Jackson State, they feel like they belong in Atlanta. For Prairie View, they're looking for their first opportunity to play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 5-4 an HBCU national championship. South Carolina State, the winners out of the MEAC, are awaiting the winner of this one, Travis Terrell Jr., who's ever so dangerous in the return game. He's got some speed. And you see a penalty marker coming down in the process as the face mask indeed. You saw the body moved and jarred from that in Terrell's return.
Personal foul.
We're talking about how explosive Terrell can be.
15-yard penalty.
One of the ways you can slow him down, obvious face mask there.
Jackson State.
Another costly penalty going to help out with field position.
Oh, we saw Jacobian Morgan go to the tent. We'll send it down to Madison with an update.
Now getting out of the tent. He's limping off with 2 trainers supporting him. He's putting barely any pressure on that injured left foot that he injured back on October 25th. He's moving really slow, and he is headed to the locker room. You hate to see this for Jackson State, but they do have a backup quarterback in Jared Lockhart, who has a lot of experience. Although he is a freshman, he has played and started in the last 4 games in Morgan's Place. TC Taylor told us this week that Lockhart continues to get more comfortable in this system each week.
All right, thanks so much, Madison. And very tough to see for the Tigers team, one of their leaders going back to the locker room as they run it up ahead. But Jared Lockhart, the freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, named SWAC Freshman of the Year, and the job that he has done. Again, he was in a similar situation, came in for Jacobian Morgan after Parker Stofa, the backup in that game against the Tigers in Vegas, and then Jared Lockhart took over and really solidified himself as the starting QB in the interim. Terrell on the carry, and a flag flies out in the process.
Personal foul, shot clock, deep offense, number 55 and 74. 15-yard penalty, second down.
So DeAndre Towns blue, Ace Meadows, both guilty of the penalty. We saw Jackson State, first 3 drives, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, right? -2 total yards. The last drive they had where Morgan led them down the field, 91 yards, 10 plays, and led them to a touchdown. And now they're going to rely on the freshman, Jared Lockhart, to push him forward the rest of the way. On second down, good throw there. Across the field to Janela Dupree with the completion.
And so the question becomes, what does Jared Lockhart bring to the table? Size, 6'5", 200-pound, superior arm. Not just a guy that can make all the throws. The coaches say Lockhart will be special. He can throw the ball in a special way. And you saw it right there where he made that deep completion look easy. So I still believe that they're going to have to run the ball at some point, figure out how to run the football. But having Lockhart in there, more pressure on the passing game.
3-star recruit out of the state of North Carolina. Feeling the pressure right now and swallowed up by the Panther defense. And it was led by Malik Nuthaki.
And that's what you do. New quarterback comes in the game, freshman, junior, senior, doesn't matter classification. Crowd the line of scrimmage, make sure he knows his pass protection. Lockhart did not realize that he was outnumbered by the Prairie View defense. Big play by the Panthers.
Sack loss of 11. And after that first series with Lockhart at the helm, a 3 and out for Jackson State. As Collins set to put it away again. More of a line drive. Dennis able to return it quickly as he's brought down just as quickly. Here in the capital city of Mississippi is where Jackson State is located, founded in 1877. Dr. Denise Jones Gregory, the interim president here. A very proud tradition, building tradition, blazing new trails, they like to say around here. Guard the yard, 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers. And again, the gold standard of the SWAC as of late.
And when you said Dr. Denise Jones Gregory, I thought you were going to say Dr. Doom.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Doom, that's
Brazil's right. One of the Hall of Famers. He spoke to the Jackson State team yesterday to fire them up and let them know they expect to win championships here at JSU.
Lynn Barney, who we lost recently, was the original number 20 in Detroit. Prairie View's offense back on the field. Chadwick Bird in the backfield, he goes out, and right there you saw Reed Pulliam just charging in, almost came up with a pick.
And this is the adjustment they're making. They're bringing the linebackers close to the line of scrimmage and just letting them become athletic and involved in the game. So you're going to need number 3, Ashton Taylor, and number 7, Reed Pulliam, to be in on a majority of the tackles.
And Bird on the carry, and strong run on second down for Shadrick Bird. Bird is going to be a yard short of the marker.
This is what Prairie does. They do tempo to run the football. A lot of teams do tempo and throw you off guard, keep the same personnel. They do it just to run the football.
And enough going to be for the first down as Bird able to pick up that yard. Interesting story on the running back. Was in the transfer portal, had no bites, and so he began coaching at his high school. And then Prairie View found a way to pick him up. In the process, joined them in fall camp. And too tall for his receiver. That one incomplete to Jones.
You have to make that throw there for Cameron Peters, but you talk about Bird, and with the transfers, you know, when we talk to the head coach, Jermaine Jackson, he said that's college football today. You know, and they got old in a hurry. 70 transfers, that makes you old in a hurry. You put a lot of graduate guys in there, some kids that came from Valdosta State as well with him. But the job they were able to do to put it all together.
A lot of misdirection. It's Cam Peters who keeps the football design run the entire way, tried to get to the edge, and he's tripped up. And I think it was so interesting what we heard from Jermaine Jackson during media day back over the summer, where he said this is a control alt delete on this team. Whatever you thought of Prairie View, let that be something in the past. Take us for what we are now at face value. And what he's done is helped his group win the West, gain a berth in the SWAC championship, a 9-win season, and a shot at the Cricket Celebration Bowl next week. On third down, got to get to the 45 of Jackson State. They elect to keep it on the ground. And it's going to be close again to the spot, you said, Jed. And Peters getting it done with his legs.
Okay. Close spot there. And once again, you see them not being able to get to the runner in the backfield gives the runner an opportunity to make decisions, to make choices. Which hole do I want to attack? And they're showing some patience.
The ruling on the field is a first down. The previous play was a further review.
Well, they're going to look this over and just make sure that they've got the spot correctly. But Peters so far, 8 rushes for 55 yards. He's averaging nearly 70 yards on the ground per carry.
Just making right decisions. And, I'm wondering, is this a challenge on the spot, or is this just a review coming from up top? Initially, I thought he might have been a yard short, but where he landed might have been there. Favorable spot. I think you can put the ball on the 45-yard line, and how do you overturn that? You may move it back half a yard a little bit, but are you absolutely sure?
Jay, where is the ball when his knee is down, which appears to be right about here?
A little bit short of the 45 where they have the ball marked right now. So I would think put him somewhere on the 46.5-yard line, not quite making it to the 45.
Jay, if that then is the spot and the ruling on the field is overturned, that's a big decision then for Prairie View. Do you go for it?
Yeah, half yard, because you saw, they punted the ball last time and pinned it, but I think you're not going to accidentally make it to Atlanta. If you want to go to Atlanta.
After review, the runner was short of the line to gain. It'll be fourth down.
So at some point you have to be aggressive and you have to go take it. And you're on the road. You're on the road. You're here in Jackson, Mississippi. You have to keep that offense on the field, and you have to increase your lead. I think that's the key. You have to increase your lead. You don't want to hold on to your lead because you have to think Jackson State's going to figure it out offensively at some point. Keep the pressure on and keep your offense on the field. Go out and get a yard.
Back on the field, the Panthers. Peters joined along with McDowell, 9 of 18 on 4th downs this season. for Prairie View. See Jackson State all up, trying to deny, trying to sneak through, and just that extra push there at the end got him to the 45.
Cameron Peters is quarterback, and you're going state level. I think he got high. You know, watch this. He's going to decide, once you decide to go, lower the shoulder pads. That shoulder pad level is way too high. Fortunate he had some linemen behind him to help him with an additional push, or else he would have been stuffed.
Felt a little bit like rugby, huh? That push there at the back.
2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout on the field, and we'll step aside here as well from the vet. A fresh set of downs for Prairie View, trying to punch it in before going into the locker room. It's the holiday season. Get into the spirit. I'll tell you, one team's year is going to be better after today's game as they want to continue to play for this 2025 HBCU National Championship next week. But first things first, Cam Peters and this Prairie View group trying to take down who has been the benchmark in HBCU football, which is Jackson State. The Tigers, meanwhile, trying to go back-to-back to Atlanta. So first and 10 for Prairie View from the JSU 45-yard line. Dennis in motion as Peters, design run again, and stopped by Pulliam.
And on the tackle, I mean, you know, they're putting the pressure. They're getting up to the second level. So Ashton Taylor and Reed Pulliam, the two linebackers, are going to have to play phenomenal rush defense. They're more than capable. It's the reason why Jackson State has the #1 rushing defense. But I think without the penetration from the defensive line, to put more pressure on those two linebackers, 3 and 7.
On second down, Peters looking, passing outside, too tall for Josiah Rockwell. It's going to bring up third down. Now I want to make a correction on air right now as we were giving credit and love to the 4 Jackson State Hall of Famers. I said in error that Lombardi had passed. That was a hoax. It's been confirmed by his family that he is still alive and well, just gravely ill, so we send our prayers out to Lombardi.
One of the coolest to ever do it, on and off the field.
Here on third down. Jackson State showing blitz. Peters able to escape, wrapped up, and a penalty comes out in the process as Quincy Ivory brings down the quarterback. First time we've called his name today, Jay.
They pressured the pocket, forcing him to leave. Curious here, if you accept the penalty or decline the penalty, I think you have to take this penalty if you're Jackson State to move him back. In anticipation that if you decline, the Prairie View's going to go
Holding offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, third down. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
And Quincy Ivory, we mentioned, made that tackle. SWAC defensive and newcomer of the year. He has just been a terror all season long. Terenzo Quinn has really benefited from just his versatility in his defense. So 5 penalties, 65 yards for Prairie View here on third down. Reed Pulliam, I don't know how many tackles he has in this first half, but he has been absolutely everywhere on the defensive side of things. Pulliam now with 8 tackles to go along with a half sack as well.
Talk about playing it close to the vest. electing not to throw the football,
Please
trying to
reset
sneak
the
it
game.
in there.
59 seconds.
Which
5, 9
Jackson
seconds.
State did a really good job of catching that. And now, what does Jackson State do? Well, I'm going to force you to punt the football, maybe go for a
Please
pump block
reset the
or
game
set up
clock.
some type of return. And in doing so, a little surprise at the conservative play selection there. But Jackson State realizing, hey, we may be able to try and sneak some points in before the half. Let's go for it. I think it's a good use of a timeout by T.C. Taylor.
And it is their final timeout, so they've got to operate under a minute with a freshman quarterback to try to get at least in field goal position, depending upon this return for Jackson State.
So they're not setting up the punt block. They're setting up the punt return, trying to get some good yardage, returning the kick.
Both Jabari Jones and Travis Terrell Jr. awaiting, and fair caught, and good job by Atwell as that drive the ball 88 yards down the field for a touchdown, or potentially at least 50 plus to get within field goal range.
Yeah, and by calling the timeout, you think they're going to try and get something? Being pinned this far back with the young quarterback in there, I think you call very cautious pass plays. Screen passes, slip screen to the wide receivers. This far back, I don't think you jeopardize him taking a traditional drop back.
Ahmad Miller, the ball carrier, quickly wrapped up there by Diallo McGee. No gain on the play, and Jackson State, as you mentioned, going more conservative here.
And no timeout from Prairie View A&M. I would have flipped the script on them and started calling timeouts to force the quarterback to throw the ball.
Lockhart, back to pass, intercepted into the hands of Darryl Starling Jr., who has had an outstanding first half for Prairie View, and then comes up with the INT, his first of the season.
You know, the chess match there, you know, that interception is going to go on Lockhart. But I'm going to talk about the positioning. Why necessarily trying to get him going? Too many bad things can happen. Once you do the first down handoff, you stick with that. They leave it, decide to trust the freshman. And great job, great first half by Darryl Starling. And Prairie View A&M, a great opportunity to increase their lead before the half, and they still have 2 timeouts.
Yep.
3.
They got all their timeouts, and they will get the ball back to start the second half. So the third trip to the red zone for the Panthers so far in this one. Can they capitalize on the pick? The blitz coming quickly out of the hands of Peters, and Jones with the reception, and a timeout comes from the Panthers now.
I'm going to say this about this Jackson State defense. They've been backed up.
Timeout.
And they've been really scrapping it up.
Yeah, first.
Scrapping up those helmets tight once they get pushed inside the red zone.
Please reset the game clock.
Prairie View A&M is going to have to do some creative play calling in order to get the ball in the end zone.
And so Terenzo Quinn is going to rely on guys like Quincy Ivory and Reed Pulliam, Ashton Taylor, names that we have called down here more consistently in this first half to try to hold them out of the end zone. And if they walk away and kick a field goal, that's still a one-possession game at the break. We'll see what unfolds in these final 18 seconds of the first half.
And I still think you have to give your playmaker, the guy with the greatest catch radius, number 11, Rockwell, has to be involved in the mix somewhere for Prairie View A&M. If you can get one-on-one coverage with him, you have to try to utilize that matchup.
And Rockwell, who's not been targeted often, one catch today for 20 yards, and into the hands, and out, pop right there. Rodney Ojo had it and let it go.
He dropped it. He dropped it. When you're down in the red zone, you know you're going to get popped. You have to focus and make the catch. Look at the throwing lane. You have to make that catch. Tough one. Tough one. And you see Mr. Interception, Starling, saying, oh, come on, guys.
Ojo wishes that one would have stuck in his hands for the sophomore out of Houston. That brings up now 3rd and 10. They can still get a first down. Got timeouts left. And Peters with nowhere to go. Broke out and got the ball out of time. And who was it? Quincy Ivory. The question was he out of the pocket?
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was an eligible receiver in the area. 4th down.
So in the pocket, out of the pocket. They say there was a receiver in the area, but Quincy Ivory coming up making a big play when the Tigers needed it. You'll see down on the downside, that's just Rockwell somewhere in the area. Somewhere in the area.
So a 30-yard field goal attempt after Peters was pressured and harassed by Ivory. It's up and it's through. So tacking on 3 extra points and a 13-7 advantage for Prairie View.
They're increasing the lead. I think you mentioned they're going to get the ball back to start the second half as well. So you take the points, but 2 times down, they've gotten inside the 10, around the 10-yard line, and not been able to get that touchdown, having to settle for field goals. Small victory for Jackson State defensive coordinator Terenzo Quinn.
And T.C. Taylor, who told us this week, hey, look, this is an honor and a privilege to be playing in the SWAC championship game, a testament to their team, their program, their culture for getting back here. They've got the home field advantage once again. And what has been a very hectic week for both sets of teams in terms of finals week. Opportunity to extend their season. And a shot at a SWAC championship here. The kickoff from Prairie View is squibbed in. It's going to be picked up off the bounce. And here on the return, Eric Simmons. And that's going to take us to the close of the first half. A 13-7 advantage for the Prairie View A&M Panthers on the defending HBCU champ Jackson State Tigers here in the Vet. An interesting first half for sure. It's a battle through 2, and we expect that even more after the half. Halfway through the 2025 SWAC championship between Prairie View and 12th ranked Jackson State here from the Vet, and it's the visitors with a touchdown advantage as we welcome you back in. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green. In that first half, it was really Prairie View who got on the board first, and they really made a statement in that first quarter. And then you look at Jackson State held to under 100 yards, and Jacobian Morgan is out again with an injury.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the key things. How is the freshman quarterback, Lockhart, going to respond? He's going to be tested. I think if you're Jackson State, you're fortunate you're only down by less than a touchdown, because I thought Prairie View thoroughly came in here, established they mean business, and the lead could have been larger.
Let's take you back to the first half and look at those highlights and how we got to this point. And we think about the way that Prairie View A&M was so effective moving the football, and then Cam Peters from 7 yards out gets the touchdown.
And in their opening drive, they missed a field goal attempt, but they continued to run the football. They realized they can control the line of scrimmage running behind Cam Peters. And then there was an adjustment made by Jackson State. After being dismal offensively, they found a way to come up with the big plays. Their quarterback, Jacobian Morgan, scored a touchdown.
Yeah, after that touchdown run for Morgan, he went to the tent and spent the rest of the have in there, and that's obviously a big development as he was coming back after a fractured foot. First game since October 25th for him. And as we take a look at the first half stats, again, it favors Prairie View in most aspects.
I mean, they're getting the job done, and it was a costly touchdown for Jackson State, but they needed those points there. Now, if you're Prairie View A&M, you're this close. You're up by 6. You're going to get the ball back. Can you seal the deal against the reigning HBCU national champions here at their home stadium? But, however, they don't have that quarterback.
The third member of our team, Madison Hawk, down on the field with an update after talking with both coaches.
Tiffany, Jackson State will be once again without their starting quarterback, Jacobian Morgan. He is out for the rest of this game. We saw Morgan limping off the field there in the second quarter. He wasn't putting any pressure on his left foot. You mentioned it, a foot that he injured back on October 25th. So QB2, Jared Lockhart, will step up and lead the Tigers offense in the second half. TC Taylor told me the offensive line has to do a better job protecting their young freshman quarterback. He does have a lot of experience playing in this offense, but they want to get him more comfortable. So he told me they're going to try and run the ball more here in the second half. As for the Tigers defense, he said that right now Prairie View A&M is just being much more physical at the line of scrimmage. He said if we want to win this game, it's going to come down to winning the battle in the trenches.
All right, thanks so much, Madison. So we will see how TC Taylor's crew responds here in the second half, again with some comfort with that freshman quarterback and adjustments. If you're Prairie View, do you need to make any in this second half?
Yeah, red zone offense. You know, you can't keep settling for field goals. If you kick a field goal, then you're giving Jackson State an opportunity to hurt you with the big play and to take the lead in this ball game. So they have to finish drives. Jackson State, on the other hand, they're going to have to figure out a way to get this freshman quarterback comfortable in this football game, the most important game of his career.
Kellen Stewart with the big pop on that kickoff return. Are you surprised at where we are through two quarters?
Surprise being two things. One, the Prairie View lead should be bigger, as I talked about that. But I'm surprised at the strength of Prairie View in the trenches. In the trenches, we've seen Jackson State dominate their opponents at the line of scrimmage. You know, the big guys like Jeremiah Williams, Tyman Wells, Quincy Ivory, they normally wreak havoc in opposing backfields. That has not been the case here today versus Prairie View.
We'll give credit to the guys up front, led by Calvin McMillan, a first-team All-SWAC offensive lineman at left tackle. Pedro De Silva, the center, who's also been a great leader as well. Bird out of the backfield with the reception down the sideline, across the 30. He's popped out of bounds on the Jackson State sideline. He's surrounded by a number of blue jerseys, but that pop was delivered by Cam Salas.
But that was just good execution on a swing pass design. The wide receivers got their blocks. Look at the timing of this. You're going to see the chop block in man line of scrimmage. Secure a block, allow Bird to run in space. The execution, you can call a play, but how are you going to go out and execute? And that was a great job coming out of the locker room.
This Prairie View group coming in exceeding expectations under a new head coach, 9 wins on the season. And Bird trying to make a little move, and he's brought down and tackled by Reed Pulliam, who had an outstanding first half. This group out of Prairie View, Texas, under the leadership of Dr. Tamikia LeGrand, better than 10,000 students for this proud institution. They call it the Hill. And on the Hill, things are looking bright and on the up and up.
Yeah, located about 35, 40 minutes outside of downtown Houston. So if you don't know where Prairie View, Texas is, and I'm going to go on record now before I start talking football again. If you haven't been down to Prairie View A&M, I think they have the best looking HBCU campus I've seen. It is phenomenal the greenery, the space, the housing. They've got a lot of things on the rise, on the up for Prairie View A&M.
I echo that sentiment here on 3rd and 11 after that tackle for a loss. It's Cam Peters going deep. One-on-one coverage on the outside. There's that man, Josiah Rockwell. Just going up and get it. We talked about one of the top receivers in the SWAC. He leads the Panthers 45 yards down the field with that reception.
Catch radius. You know, you hear the term so often, always got a great catch radius. If you put the ball in the area of Josiah Rockwell, he figures out a way to come down with it.
And then the incompletion there to Trevon Jones, but going back to Rockwell, who didn't play that much at Sam Houston, but offensive coordinator Chris Buckner was his position coach there. And when he came over with Tremaine Jackson and this staff, they knew they had a gem after training camp.
See, once again, we're at that point. You got the explosive play to get down the field this far. Now, Jackson State tightens up their defense to another level, trying to force Prairie View to settle for another field goal.
Well, we heard from Tremaine Jackson telling Madison after the first quarter that there were some things that this defense for Jackson State figured out. They had to move some pieces in the puzzle here to start this third quarter, much like we saw to start this game. Prairie View effective, moving the ball here on 3rd down. Got to get to the 15. And Peters, they like to do this design run, but Jackson State's defense is not fooled at all. A swarm of blue jerseys, and the Tigers push them back, a loss of 1.
Defense of a champion. You know, you hit us with the big play, but that's all we're going to give up is the big play. Go back to sound fundamental defense, secure the ball carrier, minimize the game, force him a long field goal attempt.
So 42 yards, and Diego Alfaro will attempt this one. We saw one from 45 yards, missed from Bill Gomez, so the freshman has the leg. It's up and it's through. So a field goal to close out the half, and then to start for Prairie View as they move 2 scores with a 16-7 advantage.
What they say, the stars shine bright deep in the heart of Texas.
Well, Tremaine Jackson, the new face in Prairie View. He got his coaching start as a head coach back at Colorado Mesa in 2019, took over a couple of games, and then after a short stint there, made their way to Valdosta State. 3 seasons with the Blazers, 30-8 overall, led them to the D2 National Championship game a season ago, and then it named the Prairie View A&M head coach on New Year's Day. New year, new you, and new look for the Panthers as Jackson, who has been a great fit. AD Goff to the left, Dr. LeGrand to the right, and AD Goff, when we talked to Anton Goff, you know, he said this was the right hire for us, the perfect hire. This is a no-nonsense kind of guy. We love his brand of football, and the style and approach, and it's been great so far to start off in his new digs.
Talked to him about some of his coaching mentors and mentioned Johnny Cole. Johnny Cole. Johnny never one to lack the spotlight and attention. Well, Coach Jackson said you meant a lot to him when he coached with you back in the day at Texas Southern.
Former Texas Southern head coach, and he said he was the guy who just really kind of put the cherry on top for me. Also really showed me how to run a program. Credits his middle school coach as well, and former D coordinators in the process for helping him to be who he is now, as Ahmad Miller with an 8-yard run to start off for Jackson State. And if you're Jackson State, you're trailing by 2 scores, and you got a true freshman quarterback, are you going to lean on the run that's been so good for you all season?
The offensive line has to step up. They have to realize that right now, oh, no, they're not getting the memo. But the offensive line, when you have a freshman quarterback, the defense is going to try and confuse them all day. The least confusing play for a young quarterback is a running play. If you can hand the ball off and pick up yardage, but there, you see white jerseys just swarming to the football.
Yeah, that was Kennedy Parker, one of those transplants from Valdosta State to Prairie View. He's been a menace in the backfield all season long. Loss of 8 on the play, so now that's going to bring up 3rd and 10, an area where the Tigers have not had success today on 3rd downs. Lockhart feeling the pressure, giving chase. He scampers out of bounds, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
And that's what happens. When you have a young quarterback in there, you have to keep him out of 3rd and long situations because you're going to see something exotic. He may panic, get anxiety, leave in the pocket. Not the way you want to start the second half offensively for Jackson State.
Guy Collins will kick it away to Andre Dennis, who's standing at his own 35-yard line. Low snap, handled, and booted away. A flag flies out on the kick.
For Jackson State, you're hoping this is against Prairie View A&M because it was not a very good punt. Frustrates you on both sides, no matter where the penalty is. How are you going to have a penalty flag on a fair catch? Ball nobody touched.
This officiating crew has done a good job here this afternoon. They're trying to sort it out right now, and we'll hear from Wyan Myers III in just a moment.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 22. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick, 1st down.
That's gonna go against the Panthers. And Jay, coming into today, it's about 52 degrees down on the field. Breeze, sunshine. I'll tell you, the weather forecast approaching this championship game was that we were going to see some rain in the process. The nip is still in the air, but certainly happy that the rain did not come as Dennis gets that jet sweep and no room to run, but needed. This group has been battle tested for the Panthers and prepared. You know, you think about that season opening win against Texas Southern. It was a nail biter. They win late by 1. They played Southern in the rain in Baton Rouge. They've been able to notch wins in big fashions against Mississippi Valley State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alabama A&M after their loss to Big Bama State.
I'm seeing them right now struggle running the football now. The adjustments made by Jackson State to crowd the line of scrimmage, and what Jackson State's doing is saying, we're going to make it hard for you to run, but we're going to make ourselves vulnerable to the pass. And they're just trying to force Prairie View A&M to throw the football in obvious passing situations.
Well, Cam Peters this afternoon, 10 of 17 for 167 yards. Remember, he's connected a couple of times on some big plays with Josiah Rockwell, who's at the top of your screen closest to the Prairie View sideline.
So Jackson State checked out of the blitz. Looks like they're going to some type of zone coverage now.
And the play whistle dead as a timeout was taken by Prairie View A&M before the snap.
Timeout. Prairie View, their first of the half. Timeout.
Well, the Panthers take a timeout and will step aside here as well. Come back with us to the bench. Back here in Jackson, T.C. Taylor, in case you don't know, he's one of the best to come through A very proud graduate after playing wide receiver, got into the coaching ranks, first at North Carolina Central, was at a Celebration Bowl, in fact, and then when he became the head coach in 2022, all he did was find ways to win. Won a SWAC championship along with an HBCU national championship last season, going 12-2 and 8-0 in the SWAC. Meanwhile, his throwback to being a player here, an outstanding receiver from 1998 to 2001. Kind of comboed as a QB and a wide receiver, an All-American his senior season, a Connerly Trophy runner-up, Mississippi's top football player in 2001. TC Taylor's got a whole lot of love here, but right now his team needs to hold on third down, an area where Cam Peters has been very effective right there at the sticks. They're going to mark him short as Jacoby Banks corrals the catch. 1 yard short of the marker, and the offense stays on the field for Prairie View.
I think they're going hard counting here, then if they don't jump, you punt the football away. You're up by 9. Defense has done a good job. Other teams' offense is struggling. Jackson State has to make sure they stay on side because nothing about me thinks they're really going to go for it on this fourth down.
And they do. And Peters has stood up. The extra effort there for Peters, still not enough. And the ball comes out at the end of the play. And a very, very chancy call, rolling the dice there is Tremaine Jackson. His team stops short no matter who comes up with it.
Follow that football, where they're marking it. they're doing a curving line right now.
It looked like he was at the 45. He had to get to the 46. And even when the ball came out, it was still around the 45. That's what they mark it right there. He's short. Turnover on downs.
I don't get it.
And one heck of a stand for the Jackson State defense, who now gets some momentum and energy after that hole.
In a short field, and, you know, they're stepping up saying, hold on, you're going to go for it 4th and 1 on this side of the 50-yard line. That's disrespectful. And they were not going to put up with any disrespect. I'm sure we're going to see number 7, once again, Reed Pulliam. He's been the run-stopping machine for Jackson State today. Meets the quarterback in the hole. And Jackson State with a huge defensive stand.
Cam Salas fired up after that is best starting field position for the Tigers this afternoon. Let's see what the freshman can do. Looking down the field, sidearms. You talked about the special ball talent. That was a great example right there as he guns it in to Nate Rimber.
It almost looks like the play was over when he extends the play, and watch the quick flick of the wrist. Once he gets out the pocket, this ball goes 25 yards down the field with a flick of a wrist. He can spin it.
Quickly is Travis Terrell Jr. showing off that great feat right there. As Eric Zachary brings him down. But Jared Lockhart on that last play and the way he extended shows you why TC Taylor has a lot of confidence in him. Obviously a young man who's very confident himself. And Kennedy Parker along with Darryl Starling Jr. made that very difficult for Travis Terrell Jr.
I'm glad you added that Starling Jr. Give some props up to his namesake, but he's played a great football game. Now this is Prairie View A&M's chance to make that stop. Jackson State got the big play on you. Now can you hold them to just a field goal attempt?
Well, you see what that defense for Prairie View has done, holding the top offense in total yards in Jackson State to just over the century mark. First red zone trip for the Tigers today, and a flag as a false start going to go against JSU.
False start offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Going against the left tackle, Mason Barton. So not the way that you want to be moving if you're Jackson State. They back up 5 yards.
But when you got a strong arm quarterback like Lockhart, 5 yards out, you can make it up. He can make it up with just the flick of the wrist with his arm. Just a matter of will the offensive line be able to protect long enough so the receivers can get open in their routes down the field. Man-to-man coverage, one safety high. Looks like they're going to probably bring a little pressure off the edge at the top of your screen. As offensive line, you have to be able to see that and protect the pocket for your quarterback.
Only 4 receptions today for these receivers for Jackson State, and they're looking to the outside. Dupree did his thing, 22 yards to bring it in. And Jared Lockhart says, check me out. Dupree finishing it off for his pop.
Lockhart was going to have to make some throws. And you'll see Dupree come from the slot position all the way across the field, but look at the location of that pass. Almost carried his wide receiver into the end zone with the throw. That's a lot of field you need as a defensive back to cover, but it was a perfect throw. Jackson State answers the disrespect by Prairie View and going for it on 4th down. We got a ball game.
The extra point is blocked. A ball game indeed, separated by a field goal. And a flag out as well. Jalen Dupree with his 6th receiving touchdown of the season.
Number 4, defense.
They're going to give him another shot.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
They got Trevor Randall for leaping. I wonder was he the one that was able to make the extra point block. Number 7.
Sterling Roberts, who was the one who came through. Jay, did you see leaping there?
I didn't see it on number 4, who they called it on, and I thought what we saw Roberts do was kind of just guys to get their hands up. He didn't jump over him. He just came over. Tough break. Tough break. It wasn't traditional leaping where somebody tries to jump over somebody. I don't think that was an attempt to jump over somebody. That was like a swim over.
So Beza will reattempt it. And this time it goes through. Close ball game here in Jackson for the SWAC championship. A couple of big throws by Jared Lockhart, completions of better than 22 yards. And this one, the 22-yard gun in the end zone to Jalen Dupree, just under 2 minutes. And we've got a tight one.
Together at the mountaintop, champions of college football.
And this was hanging out outside before the SWAC championship game. That's the Cricket Celebration Bowl trophy. It all goes down next Saturday at noon Eastern on ABC inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That is not only the celebration trophy, but also the de facto HBCU national championship game. South Carolina State, who was perfect in conference play, they took down Delaware State to go back to Atlanta. They definitely want a better showing after Jackson State was able to best them last season for the title. Chennis Berry and his group out of Orangeburg, South Carolina. We've just been outstanding since he took over the program. Could we see a rematch, or Prairie View A&M obviously has something to say about it? A couple of flags fly out immediately as the kick goes off. Kellen Stewart is tackled. And so with a couple of flags that came out immediately on the kickoff, let's hear again from this officiating crew.
You know, they're saying basketball, right? You got makeup foul. I don't think Prairie wants to hear about the makeup foul.
Kicking team, number 25. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
While we have time, let's send it down to Madison on the sideline.
That defensive stop and touchdown just brought new life to Jackson State sidelines. It was flat down here, and now every player is up, chanting "Guard the Yard," the team's slogan and motto about protecting their home turf. T.C. Taylor looked at Jared Lockhart after his touchdown completion and said, "Yep, that's what you do best. Keep at it." The Tigers defensive coaches emphasizing physicality once again, saying continue to punch back at the line of scrimmage.
And Madison, you know, around here, they say the sonic boom has a whole lot to do with that. Once you get the boom playing, momentum gets on your side, and it can turn in a hurry.
Well, they were, the trombone section was just doing a little something, and then as soon as we cut to it, obviously, they cut off. Great halftime performance by both teams. I really enjoyed it.
We need to find out what Madison thought about the sonic boom in the South. First time down here checking out JSU. We'll let her score the halftime.
Guys, I loved it. I'm not going to lie. It was one of the things that I looked forward to the most was that halftime performance. I don't think it could get much better than that, can it?
Oh, well, we'll see next week at the end of the year competition, because the two best bands in Division I and Florida A&M going to try to defend their crown against Southern, and then Miles will try to do the same in Division II with Jay.
Why did you bait me like that? Why did you say the two best bands? No, debatable the two best bands.
According to the Band of the Year competition, okay, those are the two bands
that made it.
Okay. And regarded as the two best bands according to the voters and the adjudicators throughout the season.
Of course you, because you went to Florida A&M, but
that has nothing to do with it. Actually, I'm just stating who is involved. Cameron Peters.
Nice release, but he missed the throw. You get the one-on-one coverage on the outside, bump and run, but when a few times Peters not able to have him cover the pocket, inaccurate with the throw.
I'll say this Prairie View team who has been balanced here today, moving with some tempo, 252 total yards of offense. Had more success. Cam Peters through the air, 173 yards here on the carry. And Quincy Ivory, Cam Salas, and company were there.
Once again, let's go back to the point of the offensive line, which I thought made an impact in this game for Prairie View, control the line of scrimmage. Well, now they've been matched by Jackson State. Jackson State defense.
After the play, unsportsmanlike defense, number 16. Unsportsmanlike offense, number 66. Those 22s all set. That's both players' first unsportsmanlike towards disqualification. I'm going to stop it right now. You both got
I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, you know, they're talking, getting chippy. Nobody's backing down.
And you've got two guys in Cam Salas, Calvin McMillan, all conference honors, lots on the line, tons of emotions in a game like this, a SWAC championship and a berth to the Cricket Celebration Bowl hanging in the balance. Third down rather. And the pass complete, and again, Cam Peters has been outstanding on third downs. 6 of 8 to go along with 141 yards on third downs alone.
You see the adjustment. They realize they have to get pressure on the quarterback, so they blitz the two linebackers. Peters extends the play, and his main man, the go-to receiver, Rockwell, makes the first down grab.
This one to Dennis, who spins out. Andre Dennis avoids one tackle, keeps going, and a first down picked up as Quincy Ivory was able, or rather B.J. Washington able to make the tackle.
These are the type of throws you're going to need your quarterback to make. Great job of making the first tackler miss by Dennis. Watch this hit again. Back turn. That'll leave a bruise.
Jay Washington, long-time starter here at JSU. Peters, off his back foot, just throws it into no man's land. No Prairie View jersey within a mile of that one. But the story of Cam Peters, if you're just tuning in, I mean, this is a guy who got off to a great start as we take another look at it. He was out of the pocket.
He's outside the pocket. Nobody within 15 yards.
But had a great season opener, as Madison mentioned, against Texas Southern, then got benched. They came back against Alcorn and hasn't looked back. He's slipped in there. Cameron Bell walks it to the end zone. Prairie View, touchdown. Bonner's second TD of the season. And the senior out of Houston, Texas, stretching the lead back out for PV.
Extending the play a little bit. Cameron Peters with enough arm strength to zip this pass in. The safety, KJ Chisholm's going to try and undercut it. 17 tries to undercut it. By the time he recognizes it, it's too late. Touchdown. Prairie View A&M.
6 plays, 75 yards, 1 minute and 41 seconds on that scoring drive for Cameron Bonner's first catch of the day.
And he's just going to be the second man through in the zone. So you'll see KJ Chisholm just gives him too much cushion. That's a large enough window for Peters to throw what would basically turn out to be a stick 9 versus a cover 2 look in before the defensive back can get there. Bonner with the concentration to haul it in. Huge play for Prairie View A&M.
Well, Jay, while we have a moment, let's set up something that I know is near and dear to you, partner. It's Jay's.
You want to give the people what they want. How about this? HBCU traditions. HBCU tradition. The Dancing Dolls of Southern legendary. HU, you know, that's what we say.
Bias.
When you go to Greensboro, everybody says, Aggie pride. I give them that. Let's go to number 4. Get ready, because here they come. The Jackson State Silent Boom of the South when they make that intro into the stadium. Number 3, the Q Hop. This should be QUE, but when the Qs take over the field down there in South Carolina State, that's special. Let's go Wildcat. Could be the best theme song in all of HBCU football. Tell me I'm lying.
Your fave.
Tell me I'm lying. It's the number 1 theme song. And the number 1 thing is nobody rocks the party like they ball and parlay down at the T, the U, SKE, the GEE, Tuskegee.
Woo! Out of the shed there. The shed rocks. That ball and parlay goes on for sure. On the return for Jackson State and swung down is Jabari Jones. All right, Jay, a little more chippiness going on down on the field, but thankfully the flags stay in the pocket so I can clue folks in on Tiff's 2 cents. All right, so everybody walks around, they say, Happy Classic. I like the Happy Classic, Happy Homecoming. Okay.
They especially say the Magic City Classic.
For sure.
Happy Classic.
For sure. And then the Royal Court. Yes, yeah. I am biased. You're going to say it, but the queens that walk, they used to be like an Ebony magazine. Every year you get to see them do the wave around the king and queen of the hill for
HBCU tradition.
Yeah.
Coming from a former queen of orange and green.
Do you see kings and queens at PWIs? No.
Tradition.
Okay,
they
so.
It's a basketball game. I'm talking about football tradition.
The idea is you see them walking around. It's not caught. It's caught. The answer. That's the other way. JSU.
Wow. Would you rather be lucky or would you rather be good? Because he definitely should have gone someplace else with the football. Now, are they going to call a blindside block on the play? There was a receiver in the area that came over and wiped out Trayvon Randall.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block.
Yeah.
Offense, number 1. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Jackson State.
That going against Shamar Savage, the wide receiver for Jackson State, who used to play at Prairie View A&M.
I mean, he's double covered. You've got two guys there, but watch the wipeout block there at the end. They've been clear. They're trying to take those wipeout blocks out of the game. They rather you just get in front of somebody when they don't see you coming. And instead, you see it. And then here's the look that'll probably show you better. Double coverage, so you got more lucky than good. But you'll see Randall try to pursue him. Ooh, that's close. I've seen worse hits. They're trying to take that out the game. But, oh, you got to let that
safety,
go.
close indeed. Shamar Savage against his former team. That's okay. They say we're going to go right back to your partner. And Shamar Savage coming up.
That catch,
The catch. Savage
where did he
hauls
control
it
it?
in. They're probably going to take another look at it, Jay.
It's going to be a matter of where he got control. Did he catch it cleanly? If it's not a clean catch, he didn't secure it till he was out of bounds, but foot down, control the football. Fantastic catch by Shamar Savage.
And what a way to respond. Savage, who wipes out a 79-yard touchdown with that blindside block. They go right back to him against his former team and brings him down to the one.
That timeout was just called by Prairie View. I think they want to take a look at the play, but I don't think they're going to like what they see. That was just a great catch by Shamar Savage.
And Jay, more importantly, that's Prairie View's second timeout they've spent, so they only have one remaining here.
Keeping yourself and your future safe and happy has never been more important.
Jared Lockhart comes in, he drops dimes. He can really throw the football. He's going to be a special quarterback, but as you look, I don't see any evidence of the ball moving. You know, after the initial catch, I mean, he's clearly out of bounds, but did he have control of the football right here? That's a catch. Let's see, is that ball moving?
Foot down. It looks like he's got it, yeah.
That's a catch. And he secured the football, didn't come out. That's just a great catch there. Now, they may have a look at it that we don't see. But barring that, that's just a fantastic play by Shamar Savage.
And Savage, who we mentioned, against his former team, lined up at Prairie View A&M a season ago, was at the Legacy Bowl, met with the JSU coaches at the time, returned for an extra year of eligibility. He discovered it. They discovered he had an extra year of eligibility. And so he made his way to Jackson, Mississippi. And the Tigers certainly appreciate his efforts all season long. And right there, that huge catch to set up 1st and goal for Jackson State. Back-to-back trips to the red zone for the Tigers.
I'm not putting anything on the quarterback's hands right now. Hand the ball off, downhill running with Ahmad Miller right now. Don't try to get fancy.
Miller looking for some space, not much room to run, goes out wide, loses a yard. We saw Miller's older brother, Aubrey Miller, who's a great performer here at Jackson State. The Miller brothers have a great work ethic, tough, strong.
Aubrey just won a championship, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Grey Cup,
Yep.
the CFL. We knew he was going to be a playmaker at any level. Disruptive football player. Right now, he needs younger brother to find a way to get the ball to the end zone to help out his team.
They go back to 27 and blue. This time, he's successful. Plunging ahead.
Ahmad Miller, Aubrey Miller, they're just built different.
Yeah.
They're just built different. We've talked to their father on several occasions, and this is how you want it. You're down in the inside the 5, lower the shoulder pad level, make somebody get in the way to stop you. Don't stop turning your legs until you cross the goal line. Jackson State responds.
But again, a wild possession there for Jackson State. Touchdown wiped off. Shamar Savage comes up with the penalty and then gets the catch to set up Ahmad Miller for the touchdown, and Jackson State right back in it. Coming up at 8 Eastern on ABC, Championship Saturday is capped off by Duke taking on 18th ranked Virginia in the ACC title game. Manny Diaz has his 7-5 Blue Devils going against Tony Elliott. And well, I'll tell you, a great season it's been for Virginia. They've looked good all season long. And we got to see Jamari Taylor, the running back, came over from North Carolina Central. And the way that he has helped that group.
You mentioned earlier that being a basketball matchup. Yeah. When I see Duke and I see Virginia, give me your greatest basketball players from Duke and Virginia. Oh. Put you on the spot, Tiff.
Well, I'm going to go with Grant Hill, because I'm a Grant Hill.
Take Grant Hill.
Okay. I mean, look, you want to keep it on field. Virginia?
Yeah, it's only one.
Well, Ralph Sampson.
There's only one. Yeah, there's only one. But I'm going to give you a C on that test. I'll put you on the spot.
That's okay.
I mean, greatest basketball player in Duke history.
I mean,
Christian the greatest basketball player in college basketball history.
What?
Oh, yeah. I love Virginia Hill, but late now. College? Somebody better school or somebody.
Again, I'll stick with my Grant Hill thing. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
Simon Naylor on the kickoff. And small game. Remember, Prairie View and then had a 16-7 advantage going into Blackwood. They've been holding on now by just 2 points here within the final 2 minutes of the third quarter.
Hear that boom? Boom's got this place rocking. This should be on your bucket list for venues to watch a football game. The largest stadium in FCS football, one of the loudest fans, one of the craziest fan bases. And Prairie View fans are supposed to come in here and win. Ooh, it's going to be a heck of an inning.
Certainly a very passionate fan base for the Tigers, and here it goes. First and 10. Cameron Peters trying to go outside again. Single coverage on the outside. This time, Shamar Hawkins, or rather KJ Chisholm, in the no-fly zone on Rockwell.
You know, they want that one-on-one matchup. Take advantage of the catch radius. And this is what they say, the 50-50 balls. Well, he caught the last one and almost came down with this one. So what do you do now? Probably going to catch the next one. 50-50 ball. Rockwell's going to need to make some plays.
Well, Peters, who got stood up, but a tough 3 yards after Ja'Cory Horgan with the hit.
I will say this, that Jackson State's done a really good job of taking the Prairie View running backs out of the game. We haven't heard much from Bingman, McDowell, Bird. We've heard the quarterback's name called a lot in the rushing game, and that's by design.
They're on third down, going outside. Again, intercepted, snatched out here. B.J. Washington. First pick of the afternoon for Cameron Peters. And the fans on their feet in the vet.
Great job of playing high safety help. Your quarterback needs some help guarding a wide receiver that makes fantastic catches. And this is just great timing by B.J. Washington. Comes over in a hurry and gets the ball at its highest point.
Washington, out of Flora, Mississippi, gives the ball back to Jarrett Lockhart, who came in for Jacoby and Morgan. Lockhart 5 of 6 through the air. They hand it off to Travis Terrell on the perimeter. And Travis as Terrell Jr. picks up the first down. Cameron Mao pushes him out. But again, the question mark coming in, Jacobian Morgan, would he be healthy enough to play? He started off this game after a touchdown run, got knocked out. Jarrett Lockhart, the freshman of the year in the SWAC, has looked really good filling in. Travis Terrell Jr. held up and stopped Darryl Starling Jr. on the stop along with Duthaki.
And I would think the key is going to be run the football effectively first, second down. Keep Lockhart out of third and long passing situations where Prairie View can complicate things and dial up some exotic blitz.
In the third quarter.
That sets up an outstanding preview of what the fourth quarter may hold on Championship Saturday. A SWAC championship is on the line. Prairie View A&M, Jackson State battling through three quarters. The fourth coming up when we return. Game as we are set to start the fourth quarter. And just moments ago, Madison Hawk caught up with TC Taylor.
Coach, you all have the momentum right now following that huge interception from B.J. Washington. What did you just tell your team?
We got to go out here and now execute. I challenged the defense at halftime to get a turnover. They came out there and got it. You know, we had a busted coverage on that last drive. Great job by Prairie View, but great job them getting the turnover. Offense is picking up some momentum. We know football is a game of momentum, and we got it right now, so we got to find a way to get the score right here.
Coach, thanks. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Tiffany.
Well, to start the fourth quarter, the pass complete from Lockhart to Rimbert. And you heard Coach Taylor tell Madison about that momentum. The third quarter, 160 yards in that quarter alone. Jay, through the first two, just 77 yards. So certainly the offensive momentum picking up. And naturally that big interception by B.J. Washington aiding for the defense.
Well, you know, if you're going to try and beat the champ, you don't want to take to the scorecard. You know, you want to try and get that knockout. Prairie View, I thought, had an opportunity to deliver some knockout blows. They missed. They had Jackson State up against the ropes. Now it's Jackson State's opportunity to counterpunch.
On third down, Lockhart looking, serving, trying to find somewhere to go, and through the hands of his receiver, Terrell was leaked out of the backfield, and it's fourth down after the incompletion.
This is the part of the field where you cross midfield, you could go for it, but the difference, you see them bringing out the punt unit. TC Taylor realizes this game could be a battle of field position by 2 points. Either way, every yard counts. Now can the special teams do a good job of pinning Prairie View's offense back inside the 10-yard line?
That's where Andre Dennis is standing awaiting the punt from Kai Collins, and Collins a high kick. And the punt will drop inside the 5 and pinning. And Kai Collins, credit the junior out of Australia for doing a great job there in executing on special teams.
Yeah, they've done a good job of running underneath his punts all afternoon, but this case here, they elect to let the ball hit the turf. Hits the grass, kind of deadens, and a great job by that young man on special teams, Kai Collins.
Well, Cam Peters, who has been a big part of the offense, 245 yards through the air, 64 on the ground. Jermaine Jackson's group starting inside the 20 for the first time. They're going to get going from the 4 here.
You need 20 yards. If you're Prairie View, you need 20 yards to try and win back that battle of field position. If you do a 3-and-out or don't pick up a first down or 2, you have to think that Jackson State's probably going to take the lead with a field goal.
A hard-earned 1 yard on the run from McDowell. Jeremiah Williams was there, one of those leaders along that defensive line.
As Coach Taylor told Madison, he challenged the defense. Go out there and make a stop, get tougher. I think he had to challenge Jeremiah Williams. You're one of the best defensive linemen in FCS football. Stop this running game. And I think he got the memo in the second half. He's done a really good job of clogging the running lanes in the middle of this defense.
Fifth-year senior out of Lexington, Mississippi. And off again, and again, no place to run. This time, Reed Pulliam is there.
How many tackles for Reed Pulliam?
Oh, my goodness.
He has been all over the field. That's what you want from a guy that, one of your lifelong leaders in that defense, finding the football, the ball carrier, one-man wrecking crew versus the run.
13 tackles on the afternoon, more specifically to your question, Jay, for Reed Pulliam.
13 tackles. He's going to need more. He's going to need more. 60 tackles on the season, but 13 in this game. That's answering the call when your coaches give you that challenge.
Empty backfield for Peters. Gets it complete. Coming across is Andre Dennis. And again, the third down magic of Cam Peters continues. Pick him up 23.
Watch how he delivers this ball. This kind of flips it off the back leg. But he throws a catchable ball. When a guy's running a crossing route, it has to be a catchable ball. It's Andre Dennis in stride. Prairie View answered the call. The challenge was you need at least 20 yards. Now they can win that battlefield position back.
Well, Coach Jackson challenged him earlier in the season. Got to grow up. Indeed he did. And Bingman on the run, still on his feet. And a good pickup on first down.
Bingman on the jet sweep carry.
Small frame, but the coaches just love his work ethic. Waiting patiently, and going to be close, depending upon the spot, and it's good enough.
Do you know who else is from Terrell, Texas?
I think Jamie Foxx.
I was going to say a really good football player by the name of Willie Beaver, which was Jamie Foxx's role in Any Given Sunday. But yes, Jamie Foxx from Terrell, Texas.
That's right.
I couldn't get that passion, Tiff. All right.
Prairie View, who we've seen move at tempo sometimes, to set up the run this time, taking their time, first down. Cam Peters with some room. Peters, a first down run.
First two reads were not there as he looked hard to his left side. Allowing the receivers to get over downfield. That's when I go back to the offensive line, gave them protection to go from first two reads to the left. 1, 2, not there. Oh, I've got a running lane. Escapes. It's good offensive football.
Going back on the ground, and the tackle made by Tymon Wells.
This is becoming crucial.
Yeah. Well, Jay, you talked about how Jackson State made the adjustment in their run fix against Prairie View earlier in this game. Panthers remaining committed to the rushing attack, 111 yards, trying to get their running backs going. O-line has done a great job protecting as Peters scrambles out. And it goes back to, I think, a stat we saw coming into today's game in terms of the number of times Cam Peters has been sacked this season, which is 7.
7. Can't get to him. And that's proven to be the point here as well, the offensive line. And you wonder why. I said, wow, coach, he's only been sacked 7 times today. They play cohesive as a unit. He knows when to get rid of the football, and he's athletic enough to escape.
Now another big 3rd and 7. Under 9 minutes to go in this SWAC championship game. A chance to go to the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Peters, plenty of time, and again on 3rd downs, and they're going to say Does Rockwell come up with it? He hauls it in and move the chains once more.
And I'm going back to the protection. Watch him dance in the pocket. 1,001, 1,002, 3, 4. You can't give college quarterbacks. Whoa. Look at that. It looked like he caught it on his left side and the ball got over to his right side, but.
Timeout. Jackson State. The first of the half.
So they may review this one during the break as we'll step aside here with 8:22 remaining in this SWAC championship.
The college football playoff selection show, the bracket will be filled. Judgment Day is here.
And taking a look at the current college football playoff rankings, you see Texas Tech with that big win over BYU. They were already locked, and so Cougars out. Georgia leading Alabama in the SEC championship game currently. Those are your AT&T playoff rankings back here in action at the vet. Quincy Ivory nearly out, and the ball comes loose. Prairie View loses the football, comes up with it. And Quincy Ivory, who made it tough for Cam Peters. Good sportsmanship after the play. Lamagier McDowell recovers the football. Another look here.
Great inside possession, just staying relentless on the quarterback. Quincy Ivory
There's
along
no
with John
foul
Brown
for a
Jr.
player playing with his helmet off. Second down.
So you mentioned guys along that defensive line all waking up here, especially in this second half when Jackson State needs them. Ivory, Brown, Williams, Wells here on 2nd and 23 after, or 2nd and 13 rather, after Prairie View comes up with it. Peters. Look at a toss underneath and good space in the open for Chase Bingman.
Way to design a play there. A little slip screen to Bingman. They hadn't been able to get him going run the football since the first quarter. So what do? Get him out to the flat, give him some daylight, watch him create. He picks up 10 yards on the slip screen.
Yeah, he's had a very successful season of all-purpose threat for the Panthers. You see those third down numbers for Peters. They're looking to convert here. Only got to pick up 2.
Jackson State trying to bait them into throwing the ball. They're giving them a man-to-man look, bump and run up top. JSU wants them to throw it. They don't want to allow them to run for the first down. Stack in the box.
Well, Peters has run for it a couple of times. He calls his own number once again. And Cam Peters, who has really powered this team, he's putting them on his back today.
They are not afraid of the number count. If Jackson State, if you want to put 9 in the box and we've got 7 in the box, we'll use our quarterback to be the additional runner to give us some leverage. By the time the free safety Cam Salas gets to Cameron Peters, it's too late. First down.
And Jackson State going to try to hold here. This defense who is being pushed. 13th play of the drive for Prairie View. Good feet shiftiness of Bird and carrying a pile with him down at the 8.
You hear that roll around the Prairie View faithful that made the trip here. This is clutch. I mean, this is what it's all about. Got a team on the ropes. They know they haven't had much success in the red zone versus this defense. If you're Prairie View, a fan, you don't want to settle for a field goal.
And the Panthers smelling another successful trip in the red zone. Netted a touchdown and 2 field goals. And remember, Jay, this drive started at the 4.
Exactly. Impressive drive, the type of drive you need to secure a victory on the road.
And McDowell stood up.
Where's the flag? There has to be a flag for either too many men on the field or there was a Jackson State defensive lineman trying to get off the field. I believe that was Wells. That was across the line of scrimmage.
Some discussion here from the officials.
Illegal substitution, defense. More than 11 players on the field at the snap. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
Well, just as you mentioned right there, Jay. So they caught it. That was against Tymon Wells, like you mentioned, who was trying to hustle off.
What are you going to do? Jackson State's not going to let you run downhill on them in this situation. You're going to have to bounce something or come up with something creative.
Got to pick up 1 yard here. Cam Peters.
I tried to tell you.
Is going to net nothing on that run. So now 3rd and 1 here. And what Tremaine Jackson tried to tell his group, hey, this is just another road game. Another road game for us. Don't put the pressure on yourself of it being a SWAC championship. But this is a championship drive that the Panthers are trying to engineer here in an all-important 3rd and 1. Right now, from the 4-yard line of Jackson State. Can Prairie View move the chains? Peters, yes, going for more.
He tried to extend the ball.
And in the extension of the ball, it comes loose. Jackson State says they've got it.
That was a fumble. That was a fumble. Unless you show me something clearly that said the knee was down, I was questioning why extend the ball out when it looks like you got the first down yardage, which is what you needed.
Back-to-back turnovers for the Panthers, gifting it to Jackson State at their own 1-yard line as Quincy Ivory comes up with it. Another look here. Cam Peters, you said, gets the first down.
Right there. He's going down, back turn, and trying to reach back with his football. You cannot do that. Cannot do that. Costly turnover. You have an opportunity. Why? Why? Too loose. The ball security, and he's going to need his defense to help him out in a hurry. Mental error. Otherwise, fantastic football game from Cameron Peters.
And a tough break for Prairie View, but they've got to make Jackson State drive the length of the field.
Play recovered by the defense. First down, Jackson State.
That was a 16-play drive that results in a fumble. Jackson State with 2 timeouts left. Over 4 minutes to go here. Ahmad Miller trying to give the Tigers just a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that's a good run, and you have to have a sense of urgency if you're Jackson State, because if you're forced to punt, you want to be able to get the ball back one more time.
12th ranked Tigers, who have been so dominant in the SWAC since 2021 and trailing by 2 in the SWAC championship game. The freshman Jarrett Lockhart in his own end zone. The handoff to Miller, and Miller meets Starling. Darryl Starling Jr. again. Boy, he has wreaked havoc defensively, again from his star position.
Yeah, one of those players that came over with Coach Jackson from Valdosta State. Biggest throw of Jared Lockhart's career coming up right now in this 3rd down. Surprised they're letting so much time click off the clock.
Lockhart with time, puts it up, goes across the middle, dangerous throw, nearly intercepted by Randall. And it's 4th down, Jackson State. So Lockhart heaved it up there dangerously as Randall, from his safety position, was there on the backside and almost came up with it.
See, this is why I was wondering why you let so much time tick off the clock. They got the ball with about 4.5 minutes left. Now it's down to 3. You have to punt the ball away. If you get it back, you're going to be very limited on time.
We saw Collins busy today from his own end zone here, and Andre Dennis just lets it bounce and roll out of bounds. A 51-yard punt. And we'll see Prairie View with the ball back from their own 45 of the SWAC championship game. It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research, folks, that helps save lives. If you're able, give now at v.org/donate. 100% of donations go directly to cancer research. Capital city of Mississippi here in Jackson. And what has been a great SWAC championship game thus far. And we know that this finish could be all the more thrilling. 2:44 remaining. Cameron Peters along that left side. And we have...
I would get a timeout.
Not seen a timeout yet from TC Taylor. He's got 2 to work with, and also the 2-minute timeout as well.
Yeah, if you call it there, and then you call it up another one, and if you get the stop, you get the ball back with 2 minutes, and you can run your offense. He's electing to hold on to one, but you had the negative play that you wanted at the line of scrimmage.
Now he calls it, Jay. And a lot of time ticked off the clock.
Jackson State, their third and final timeout of the half. Timeout.
Third and final timeout of the half for Jackson State, and we'll see what happens when we come back. Well, tomorrow we'll have the exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff top 25 rankings in a 3-hour special. Reese and the guys will break them down and unveil the matchups for the 12-team playoff. It starts at noon Eastern after Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN and the ESPN app. The championship Saturday, so much to be decided here. Who will move on to play South Carolina State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl? Prairie View with a 2-point lead, holding tight to it. And the timeout here, as this is the third and final timeout.
Timeout
for Jackson State.
Jackson State, their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Jay, we were here earlier in the year, back on October 11th, and it was a knockdown, drag-out fight between Alabama State and Jackson State, 2 undefeated teams at the time, and it came down to the final play, just 2 yards short from Big Bama State, which TC Taylor said, hey, they could very well have been here, but the grit, the resilience, the toughness of his team to forge ahead and push through. And now they're in another tight situation. This one from the trail position. But a lot can happen in these final 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
It comes down to this play right here. Whether or not the defense is going to give the offense an opportunity to get the football back. You challenge everybody all season long. All summer workouts have been for moments like this.
Please reset the game clock to 2:16. 2:16.
And keep an eye on that quarterback, Cameron Peters. He's been sneaky rushing the football today in crucial situations.
Please reset the game clock. 2:16. 2:16.
On the ground today for Cam Peters. Tremaine Jackson, who has watched the maturation of his quarterback from the first game of the season, benched him, gave him another opportunity, came back better, grew in the process, and here on 3rd and 8, Cam Peters, and this offensive unit trying to convert. Peters takes off, holding on to that football like a loaf of bread, but picks up a huge first down.
He's been sneaky with his rushing attempts all day. And what a job making the first guy miss at the line of scrimmage.
2-minute timeout.
Huge first down conversion, third down conversion for the Panthers.
And that is where he has been so good all game long. It's as if he rises to the occasion on third downs. None more important than that one. Takes us to the 2-minute timeout. UFC 323 is tonight at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas with a stacked card. 2 title fights. The bantamweight and flyweight belts are on the line. Prelims begin at 8 Eastern with the main card at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. You can buy it on ESPN.com/PPV. Meanwhile, back here in Jackson, Mississippi. What an outstanding game this has been and showing for Prairie View A&M. Coming on the road to Jackson, which has been the standard in the SWAC. Their dominance over the last 5 years, 36-4 against conference opponents. And right now, Jay, Tremaine Jackson is on the brink of doing something that hasn't been done since 1963, a chance at a 10-win season. He said, we came in wanting to focus in on winning 10 games, not making the SWAC championship necessarily our goal, 10 wins, because he said, if we got 10 wins, we knew that we would likely be here. And that's what's bigger for this group right now. But they've got to manage this final minute and 17 seconds as a flag comes out.
They're close. Right there, they're going to manage this, and we know the way he prepares his staff. You know, they've been in these situations. They talked about it. They had no doubt they were going to come in here and walk away with this victory. And the job.
False start, offense. Number 74, 5-yard penalty, second down. Jackson State has declined the 10-second runoff.
Yeah.
But in that preparation, Jay, he said before the Alabama State game where they hosted them at home, he talked it up. He made them know that this was like a championship game, put a great level of importance on that game. And he said, our guys, I want to see how they will respond. And well, they didn't come out on the winning end, and it felt like they froze up a little bit. So he said that this time, we're not talking about it like a championship game. We're just talking about it like another road game. And that mentality and approach has certainly helped his team here today. And the no-nonsense leader is Tremaine Jackson, who has turned things around at Prairie View.
Set the game clock to 1:18. 1:18. Jackson State declined the 10-second runoff. Thank you. The clock will start on the snap.
What about the job, you know, athletic director Anton Goff had going out there and making decisions to change coaches?
A bold decision. I mean, this Prairie View team was 5-7 a season ago, finished 4th in the SWAC West, and then he goes out and gets Tremaine Jackson, one of the hot-shot coaches in the game.
And he just got hot now.
Tremaine Jackson. There's Anton Goff in the cowboy hat.
Yeah, congratulations, Anton. Came over to Prairie View from Bowie State, where he had success in winning the Division II level. Knew that Division II football coaches had challenges. Was not afraid to go out and find Tremaine Jackson. And whoa, I'm gonna say it again one more time, because I'm getting texts from folks. Yes, it's that Prairie View A&M that is on its way to HBCU National Championship in 2025.
You saw Tremaine Jackson fall to his knees. He's back up and celebrating with his team. A 10-win season coming in, knocking off the giant that is Jackson State. A 23-21 victory. And folks, it's Purple Rain and Jackson. 2025 SWAC champions are Prairie View A&M. The Panthers have waited 16 years for this moment, their first conference crown since 2009. What a moment for this group. Came out of the wacky Wild West in the SWAC into the house of the defending HBCU national champions. And it's Prairie View that claims it. And what a great moment right here between AD Anton Goff and head coach Tremaine Jackson.
You know, we've seen a lot of stuff. They're trending in the right direction. They're not slowing down. Prairie View A&M is legit.
And our very own Madison is standing by with the winning coach.
Coach, Jackson State was trying to fight back there. How did you silence them?
John 2:5 says whatever he tells you to do, do it. That's exactly what we did by coming here. It's exactly what these guys do every single day. So we like playing in the clutch. I think it shows. Really good football team. Hats goes off to them. But thanks be to God. Thanks to our staff, our administration, our players. These guys have worked extremely hard.
Your quarterback, Cam Peters, had nearly 400 total yards of offense and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What can you say about the way he managed this offense today?
He's a dog. Made a mistake down there on the goal line. He's a dog. Let's deal what dogs do. They come back and they fight harder. Nobody thought we'd be able to do this in such a short time. We got injuries all over the place, short rosters. Man, that dude just stands up and fights every single day. And I think it's a really good deal that he's on our team. I'm glad that I was his coach. I'm glad we got one more week together.
To your point of that short time, it's your first year as head coach here for the Panthers. You were coach of the year in the SWAC, and now you just brought them their first conference championship since 2009. I can see the emotion on your face. What's going through your head right now?
You know, I'm really, this dude right here, man, this dude gave me an opportunity to be a Division I coach, Division II guy with a Division II staff, just a guy from Houston, Texas, man. This dude saw something in me. Our president saw something in me. I'm just extremely excited for our people. Not necessarily myself, our players, just excited for our people.
And that led to this moment.
I saw a great coach, a great leader, and a great man, and I knew he was going to take us. A year ago when we talked, I said, if you come to Prairie View, a year from now, we'll be in this game. And we came here, we won. Now we got one more game to win.
Congratulations. Guys, enjoy this one. Congrats, coach.
Well, Tremaine Jackson, who's put together a fully cultured program, as he mentioned, and that dog he talked about, the discipline, the obedience, the grit, has gotten them to this point, and a shot at South Carolina State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl next week.
Absolutely, and I want to say this. Prairie View A&M fans, stand up for your school, for your alma mater. No longer the ridicule of having that losing football program. You got a winner. You need to get behind this winner, and we'll see you in Atlanta, because they're going to need you, because those Bulldogs from South Carolina State from the MEAC, they're going to be in Atlanta for that Cricket Celebration Bowl.
And hats off, as a great respect from coaches on both sidelines. Tremaine Jackson said, hey, look, we knew that we were going against a well-coached, well-disciplined football team in Jackson State. They were the team to beat, and they've come into the vet and done just that.
How about giving a shout out to Kenny Burrow, the Hall of Famer, the only Pro Football Hall of Famer from Prairie View A&M. And Ken Houston, Hall of Famer, and all those engineers that brag about their alma mater, the ROTC program that's top tier. Congratulations, Prairie View A&M. Share your moment.
What a moment this has been. Tremaine Jackson say, hey, what's going to be bigger for us? A SWAC championship or 10 wins? Well, you got them both here today against one of the premier programs in all of HBCU football, in his first season leading Prairie View A&M to the top of the mountain. Cameron Peters had an outstanding game, and what a game it was. The emotion, the excitement for Jay Walker on Tiffany Green, for the rest of our crew. The SWAC championship closes out with Prairie View as champions. Until next week, we out.